He walks slower now, and his voice has deepened with time. But when Clint Eastwood steps onto a movie set, the world still pays attention. At 95 years old, Clint Eastwood isn't just alive. He's still directing, producing, and defying everything Hollywood thinks it knows about age, creativity, and success. In an industry obsessed with youth, reinvention, and billion-dollar franchises, Eastwood stands apart. He doesn't chase trends. He doesn't rely on CGI spectacle or spandex suits. He tells stories, simple, human, raw. And somehow, those stories still draw audiences in, year after year, decade after decade. And the truth is, Clint Eastwood has never played by Hollywood's rules. Not when he first arrived, not when he became a box office icon, and certainly not now. From his early days as the silent gunslinger to his most recent directorial projects, Clint's entire career has been a long, deliberate act of rebellion. Let's rewind. When Eastwood got his first major role in the TV series Rawhide in the late 1950s, he didn't look or sound like a leading man. Too tall, too quiet, too unpolished. But that too quiet became a weapon. When he landed the role of the man with no name in Sergio Leone's Dollars trilogy, Clint changed the Western genre forever. No longer were Western heroes clean-cut cowboys with moral clarity. Eastwood's characters were complex, violent, stoic, and unpredictable. The first rule he broke? Heroes don't have to be perfect. In fact, they don't even have to speak much at all. Then came Dirty Harry in 1971. A cop who didn't follow the rules, didn't trust bureaucracy, and didn't mind pulling the trigger. Critics hated it. The public loved it. And it gave us one of the most iconic lines in film history. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Clint Eastwood was redefining masculinity on screen. Flawed, harsh, morally gray. And he was doing it at a time when Hollywood still preferred its heroes, charming and safe. But here's what's wild. As much as he was known for violence and grit, Eastwood always had something deeper going on. His movies asked questions about power, about justice, about who gets to define right and wrong. But then, something unexpected happened. At a point when most actors start fading, Eastwood began directing. And not just directing, winning. His 1992 masterpiece, Unforgiven, flipped the Western on its head. It took everything Clint had ever done in that genre and turned it inward. A gunslinger full of regret, trying to outrun his past. The film won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Director and Best Picture. At 62, Eastwood had reinvented himself, again. And that was just the beginning. While most directors are slowing down in their 60s or 70s, Eastwood ramped up. He directed Mystic River, $1 Million Baby, Gran Torino, American Sniper, and Richard Jewell, all between the ages of 70 and 90. And every one of those films? Rule breakers. Let's pause there, because that's just the start of the story. Clint Eastwood doesn't make movies the way Hollywood says you're supposed to. His sets are quiet. He shoots fast. No dozens of takes. No overlit scenes. No ego. Actors call it the Clint way. You arrive prepared. You get 2 takes, maybe 3. Then it's on to the next shot. While other directors spend months agonizing over post-production, Clint sometimes finishes a film before others have even wrapped. Gran Torino wrapped in 33 days. American Sniper took less than 2 months to shoot. That's unheard of in modern filmmaking. And let's talk about Gran Torino for a second. Eastwood not only directed that movie at 78, he starred in it too. The film made almost $150 million domestically, and the character of Walt Kowalski, an angry, racist, grieving widower, became one of Eastwood's most unforgettable roles. Why? Because it was honest, ugly, human. Hollywood has a habit of packaging older characters as either comic relief or sentimental wisdom. Clint said no. He gave us a man filled with hate who who learns compassion through unlikely friendships. That's real storytelling, and audiences felt it. And then there's $1 Million Baby. A boxing movie, sure, but also a heartbreaking story about ambition, love, and letting go. Hilary Swank transformed. Morgan Freeman grounded the film. But it was Eastwood, both behind the camera and in front of it, who delivered the emotional knockout. The final act shocked viewers. No Hollywood ending, no uplifting final fight. Just loss. Real, raw, irreversible loss. That's another rule Clint loves to break. Don't give the audience what they want. Give them what they need. And he kept going. American Sniper was a cultural lightning bolt. Released in 2014, it became the highest-grossing war film of all time, earning over $500 million worldwide. The story of Chris Kyle divided critics, but connected deeply with viewers. Clint didn't glorify war. He showed its cost, the physical, mental, emotional damage it leaves behind. In the middle of a Hollywood obsessed with superheroes, he gave us something real, a man trying to hold on to his soul. But here's where it gets even more remarkable. In his 90s, Clint Eastwood didn't retire. He didn't slow down. He made Cry Macho, directed and starred in it at age 91. And now, at 95, he's preparing to release what might be his final film, Juror No. 2. It's a courtroom thriller starring Nicholas Hoult and Toni Collette. And guess what? He's directing it the same way he always has. Lean, focused, fast. Hollywood doesn't have a blueprint for this. 95-year-old directors don't exist in their world. But Clint's never cared about what the world expects. Because here's the truth. Clint Eastwood never needed permission to keep working. He never asked for approval. And that might be the biggest rule he's broken of all. At 95, Eastwood is no longer trying to prove anything. He just creates. When asked recently if he plans to retire, he gave the most Eastwood response possible. "I don't think about it. If something interesting comes along, I'll do it. If not, I'll go ride my horse." That's who he is. He never chased the right time to stop. He just trusted his instinct and kept working until the story was finished. Maybe that's why he remains one of the last true icons of American film. Not because he's perfect, not because he's always politically correct, not even because his movies are universally adored, but because he's real. Because in a business built on reinvention, he never stopped being himself. Because when the system told him to retire, he said no. Because when the world dismissed him, he made Gran Torino. Because when they said he was past it, he made The Mule. And now, at 95, when others chase popularity, he continues to define it. So remember this, when someone says your time has passed, that you're too old, too quiet, too outdated, think of Clint. Think of the man who broke every Hollywood rule and is still standing, still directing, still creating, still Clint. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Clint Eastwood's unstoppable legacy, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let us know in the comments. What's your favorite Eastwood moment? And remember, legends don't follow trends. They make their own path. See you in the next video.